All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to be with us today for the Master of Arts in Popular Music Pedagogy information session. We have tons of captivating content to cover, but before we start, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Omar Perez. I'm an online enrollment advisor for UOnline. I cover all the graduate programs that we host and more specifically focus on assisting our amazing prospective music students with the admissions process. I hope that today's presentation will assist you in making the best decision for yourself. My co-host, Andrea Jimenez, will be coming on in just a few moments. So before we begin, here are some housekeeping items. The information session will last about 45 minutes in length. If for some reason you arrive late, have to take a break, or leave early, no worries. It is being recorded and will be provided to you via an email. Also, we want to make sure that the content is relevant to you. So if you have any specific questions for our panelists, please feel free to utilize the Q&A feature at the bottom. And now it's my pleasure to introduce my fantastic co-host, Andrea Jimenez. Take it away, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Omar. Appreciate you. And thank you, everybody, for being here with us. Welcome again. Taking time out of your Wednesday to spend with us we're greatly appreciative of you. And we're excited to dive into this awesome program that we have here online at the Frost School of Music, the University of Miami. I'm going to get started with asking our incredible faculty panel to come and join me. And I would like our program director, we could start with you first, Raina, and then we will go to Stephen. Please go ahead and introduce yourself, Raina.
Hi, everybody. I'm Raina Murnak. I am the head of voice here at the University of Miami Frost School of Music, but I'm also the program director of this amazing program, and it's full of so many of my colleagues' expertise gathered into one beautiful bow. And one of my favorite colleagues is here with me tonight.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Well, hello, everybody. It's great to be here with you all. My name is Stephen Gleason, and yes, I am a colleague of the distinguished Dr. Raina Murnak. And I'm actually a voice on the voice faculty, the contemporary voice faculty. I teach guitar, and very, very conveniently so, I teach a lot of the technology classes here for the MAID program, and really for quite a bit of the school, which works out pretty well because I was had a hand in, of course, helping to design the technology component of this degree program. So I'm just excited to be with you and look forward to your questions.
Thank you both so much. So Raina, let's jump right in. Let's get into our curriculum. Let's explain exactly what we have going on here, the core classes, final project, all those components that we have going on, and then we'll jump into specific questions, and Stephen, I'll bring you in as well. Go ahead, Raina, please. Ooh, unmute.
Sorry about that. So this degree consists of required courses and electives. The required courses are you begin your journey with popular music pedagogy and administration, which is a mix of a lot of things: teaching methods, creating classroom structure, lesson plans, utilizing popular music research, and the structure of how different organizations and administrations work. And for that course, we have Dr. Corin Overland teaching that, who's an expert on the subject. We move into a popular music methods course. Stephen on this call is one of the teachers of that, one of the units. So basically in that, there are the guitar faculty, drum faculty, technology, myself for voice, keyboard studies. You get you hear from the people who are doing this at the University of Miami what our methods are, what some rehearsal techniques would be, terminology, equipment. You learn a lot about some of the aspects that maybe if you did music ed as an undergraduate, you were in the more traditional spaces. So these are the aspects that bring it into the popular music world. There is a music theory pedagogy, popular music theory pedagogy, which is being offered this semester, right now in spring 2, by our professor Daniel Strange. who is just really an incredible musician, but also such a fun, engaging teacher on a subject that can frankly be scary. I think everybody was scared of theory, right? Like, so hopefully you come out of this with like a more hands-on approach, and you hear some things that open up your ears, and you hear popular music in a different way. There's a history and critical studies of popular music course, which is more like a tool on how to understand those connections between popular music, culture, history, and the evolution of us as people through music. And that is going to be taught by Dr. Quevedo, Marisol Quevedo, who's an expert and an expert in Latin American music here at the Frost School. There are music business for artists courses, which will be pretty much giving you, because I mean, like truly, if you didn't go to school or work heavily in the industry of music industry, you don't really get to look into that little dollhouse of like how many moving parts there are to get a song from someone's guitar to, you know, on a tour and distributed and all the processes therein. So really giving an artist's point of view. Why is this important? Well, your students, or perhaps for yourself, you want to know what journey they're about to embark on. And also, the journey changes sometimes by the day with changes in policy, technology, you know, sometimes major seismic changes. Now we have AI. So all of those things will be incorporated into that course. There is a peak performance. I could talk about that because I teach that course as well. That is a very personal course. It really is journaling with deep questions where you back and forth talk to me and do things and record yourself. And it's just really a lot of the mental aspects of performing. We definitely talk about performance anxiety and all of those things. And I think it's a really good tool of like self-reflection. Then you have a capstone project, which is a tailored thing to your, you know, your main areas of research, your thoughts on where you would like your project to go. Is it more of you're starting a lesson business? Is it you're developing a curriculum for your school? Are you yourself an artist and you want to get more into private lessons? Whatever that is, for you, that is the project. The electives, I mean, I can go on, I won't, but there are tons of electives in arts leadership, in music business, in media creation, and, you know, marketing, and others. Our electives actually grow quite a bit with other courses that we have coming online because we feel that we want you to explore your interests, or if there's something that you learned in one of these courses and you wanted to take a deeper dive, that's the place for you to do that. And we want you to really just become the best musician and learner and teacher that you can be.
Thank you for that, Raina. So when we're talking about in the curriculum, the skill sets, what they're going to be learning in terms of the overall curriculum and what students will leave this program with. Stephen brought up the tech side, which I mean, it's will continue to trend. So I definitely want to bring in Stephen to address how we're seeing tech, how the tech is growing. Why do we have to know about it? Why it's important for our students as educators or entrepreneurs or what have you. And then I'll bring you in right after. But Stephen, can you give us a little bit of insight in terms of why that tech piece is so important and the digital literacy as well?
Sure, Andrea, my pleasure. I think one thing that is very important to address up front is that it's pretty much a non-negotiable with regarding the tech component. It is a necessity for any student, whether it's a young student, a continuing learning student, somebody who's practicing in 2025, having these type of skills just to record yourself. Just at a basic level. And it's something I just wanted to, in furtherance of what Raina was talking about, this degree, when we sat down and we started talking about this, first of all, it's really cool. I have to be honest with you. It's really cool. It's a great program. Our colleagues, when we sat down to do this, we all kind of started to talk about like, what would we want? We never take it from the perspective of this is what needs to be learned and this is what they should be having and this is and throwing out like that. We were all like, what would we want to learn? Like, what would we want to do? And it was the same thing. And I thought the same way when I was putting this unit together regarding the technology. And I said, you know, more so than what do we want to learn or what do I want somebody to learn, what's accessible? Because I have to say, one of the most intimidating aspects of any program is the technology. I hear stories all the time about people who turn on the screen of a DAW and they panic, you know, and they shut down. And I think what we tried to do was distill the information, make it fun, make it something that you actually wanted to do. And also, just with regard to the one thing is, we're ready for the changes, because the one aspect of the program, the technology, is going to change constantly. So I'm constantly updating and packaging everything, because it changes so much. And yes, we're ready for AI. So we do that on a daily basis. AI has become a big component now in what we do, because it is changing. It's probably one of the most consequential, things that we're going to have to deal with. So it's something that we're ready for. We worked on it. But with regard to the overview, so it's really cool. So if you're a student, you get like a 360. Especially for I could just speak, like, obviously for every unit, but I can just say for my unit as well. I mean, you literally start right at the top. Like, this is how you plug in a microphone. This is a better microphone for this instance. So for those of you that are maybe music educators or teaching your students, you're going to be able to show your students, you'll be able to record your students' projects. You'll be able to help them with a running portfolio. You'll also be able to mic them up for a performance. There's a whole thing, I remember it now, shooting just with regard, like in a rehearsal studio with speakers and showing you how to plug the speakers in. So don't get intimidated where it's like, oh my gosh, like, am I going to actually have, it's really spelled out for you. We really thought about how can we make this accessible, but also knowing that it's an integral part of what people will be doing in the music field.
Thank you for that, Stephen. Raina, did you have any thoughts to that before I jump to another question?
I think that that's the thing. Everything's intimidating before you do it. And if you think about all the things anybody can learn to do any task, it's overwhelming. The beauty of being enrolled in a program is that it's bite-sized, snackable skills that we're building, where we're showing you and we're making sure that there are no holes in your foundation. It's not a dump of like, oh my God, I have to learn all this and understand all this, like, because that's overwhelming. But definitely, and obviously I've seen all the content. It is the feedback that I've gotten from a lot of the students are that, wow, I never thought of it that way, or that's so cool, or oh man, this really helped. Like, this was a good step by step. And I want you to think about it that way. Whatever it is that you look at the curriculum of anything and you see something that's intimidating, like, we really worked hard to make this feel easy. Everybody has a lot going on in their life, right? So we wanted something that will enhance and not stress you out, that will help you. Like when Stephen says you're in a room and you have to actually get sound from a microphone to a PA. Like, what are the best, how do I do that? What are the settings? How can I improve that? How can I make this better? Oh, I want to record it too. Okay, that's step 2, right? So I want you to just think, there are all these things that maybe you never got in your training, that was where we started our thought process. Man, what did I wish I got? What did somebody who studied a more traditional path in music ed not get, for sure? And then I should say that I'm president-elect of the Association for Popular Music Education. So I interface with a lot of teachers, K through 12, college, all of types of teachers. And I attend so many of these, workshops and conference things, and I have absorbed that, right? Like, I see what is needed and what's not connecting. So I've really been very conscious about trying to put that into this degree program.
That's great, Raina, because I was actually going to jump into what you both do outside of Frost that complements and just further supplements what we have going on here, in that we are not in this bubble of just the institution. You each are doing, and sometimes I don't know how, but so many different things outside of here getting that community knowledge nationally, even internationally, and you're bringing it home every single time. And that's something that we're applying to our students. So you gently touched upon that. So I appreciate it. So in terms of what we're doing here and this degree, it's new. There aren't any really like this, especially online, right? And when we're talking about pedagogy education, like you said, it's music education, there's jazz pedagogy, there's other areas which are special in their own right, and we don't take away from that. What makes popular music pedagogy, the teaching and learning, if you will, that students are getting here, what makes it so different? And why is it that it's just coming about now? Was it just us that was like, oh, we need this? Or no, there was a need? Because I remember we talked about that a bit, Raina and Stephen, and if we can get your thoughts on that. What makes this so different? Who would be the target audience or the individual that would come here and seek this? Let's get into that.
Sure, I can definitely jump in and just talk about the reality of music and streaming music. It's 98% of it's popular and 2% comprises both classical and jazz. And yet, when we look at our training, I would say 98% of schools at the collegiate level don't have a hearty, full systemic popular music training. So that's a disconnect. So right there, that's I could drop the mic if I was holding one. That's it, right? Because we want education to prepare students for the world and also reflect the world, right? And that takes nothing away from the importance of historically classical music, historically and sonically jazz music as an extension of classical music, as America's first art form of music, right? But popular music is the continuity point. And in educational systems, it kind of has been ignored, and it's time for that to stop being a thing. I truly, I don't believe in that. And you know, I'm not a musical elitist. Music and beauty and art are equal. And I want popular music to have the same place in the education system, because what's happening is we're training people in all of these other things, but they're being asked to do things in the popular music realm and having straight up panic attacks when they have to, oh, just, you know, tell facilities what you need for sound system for this or to record this. And it's like, what? Huh? And there's no reason to not train people on production elements, guitar, like drum kit. Like these are instruments that are so, they're popular, and that word means something, right? With the School of Rock programs, you're getting more and more students who have an expectation for them to not just denigrate their musical experience to after 4 p.m., after the bell rings, right? We want to integrate the music that they're making into the school system. That doesn't take away from choir, orchestra, or band, but that is a yes and. So it's so important to me to empower educators so that they're not scared of something that they clearly didn't get training in. And I think it's time. The online thing to me is a democratic thing. It means I can pop onto this class at like 9 p.m. when I get home and watch it in my own time. I can listen to the audio as I'm driving to work. I can do so many things with an online experience that's flexible that I could not do by quitting my job and being in some place for, you know, all day, or if I have a family or, you know, like, I just think it's the perfect solution for the population that we want to serve.
Appreciate that. Stephen, do you have any thoughts to add as it pertains to?
I do,
exactly
actually. I think it's one thing that I say, I don't, it's not an elevator pitch or anything like that, but it's one thing that I can say for certain. In summation, many institutions and their faculty, subsequently their faculty, have, like Raina was talking about, it's mostly jazz and classical music, and then the popular music component is a fringe element, or they have degree programs that moonlight as popular music programs, but they're really just rebranded, right? They're just repackaged. I have to say, this is the complete opposite, and not only from the degree program, but to the staff, the faculty that populate and actually teach these courses. I know that I don't only speak for myself. I know I speak for Raina also. This is an extension of our skill set. So we're not designing something just in theory. I was on the road for 12 years and played in dance bands. I was a studio musician in New York. I played on the Food Network. This is what we did. So we're coming at it from that perspective. Even though we did have, very formal training, we always said, things are changing. This is very, very important. There is a track for this, dedicated for this. And that's really what we do here. And that's what really does make it unique. That's what's really special about it. It's not just a fringe element or something that's, repackaged or rebranded, but it's really a classical program with some popular music peppered in, or it's, all classical musicians kind of speaking about, we're all popular musicians, playing on popular recordings, sing popular music, listen to popular music. So, it's not just, it's not something that we're putting on the airs about. So.
Thank you for that, Stephen. Raina, can we talk a little bit about, and we will be wrapping up soon, so thank you, everybody. Omar, I'm coming to you shortly. Raina, can we talk a bit about the kind of student that comes into this program? We've seen quite a diverse bunch of folks that come in and that are doing different things, playing different instruments. It's not just one kind of person that's coming in here. What if we have a person that's a teacher, but then there could be entrepreneurial, and they offer lessons to students and even older populations. What is that audience looking like for us? And when someone's thinking about, is this program for me? Am I fitting what they're looking?
Great question. So our students range like you said it best, it's a diverse population. We have people who are teachers who fit into that mold of, well, I studied trombone in my undergrad, so I got this side of it, like directing bands or conducting, that I got down, right? But now I'm running a modern band in my school, or I have students who are asking to do something with technology, and I never had formal training. And what better opportunity than to do a degree in something where you're going to get a lot of elements and aspects, even, not to underestimate the historical portion of it, right? The popular music history, that's a major component of everything that we hear, every genre. You can't separate what you hear from life and the timeline, of it all. So we have the teacher population. We actually had a very strong military population, which I was so excited about. So we had a lot of people who were trained on certain things in maybe a classical or a jazz way, but now they're doing a lot of pop music, running military bands. And, they're attending the program, which I think is terrific. We have entrepreneurial people who are lesson teachers, and they want to amp up their credentials. Or sometimes, hey, I studied guitar, but I don't know anything about how to help my singers on this. So can I have more tools? Or I never did songwriting, and having some theory or song form training would be amazing. So and I feel like I'm missing a portion of this. Oh, I like artists who in general just want a master's degree. Maybe they did performance as an undergrad, or they did music business as an undergrad, but they want to transition into something more in the educational field. That's where some of the older students are showing interest, because they've maybe worked a whole career, but they want to transition. So, I think I think it's very interesting. And I think the diversity of the student body. And another thing I could tell you, our students are they talk, they share, and they really enhance each other's learning experience by regionally being in different places, instrumentally being in different places. I just think it's cool to see people come together. They're learning the same thing, but they're doing it so differently.
Thank you for that, Raina. Stephen, did you have any thoughts to that in terms of anybody coming in and questioning, is this right for me?
You know what? Not that much, because I think it really if a lot of the students obviously go on the website, do their homework, it obviously has a reputation. I think most of the people that come are drawn to this type of environment. So that's actually one of the cool things. We very rarely have to say, well, you could do. We never have to convince anybody, because most of the people that are coming or that are attracted to the program, it's exactly what they're looking for. It's the ability to work in certain ensembles, expand on their entrepreneurial skills, get some technology, get the great vocal training, because we do all that. We do all that. I just want to make sure that we're clear also, just because we were talking about popular music, there's no sacrifice in the rigor in our pedagogy. That's for sure. So they get that, they get the technology, also get that entrepreneurship. And those are all critical skill sets, to thrive, not just be successful, but to thrive in the music industry, all facets of the industry. So hope that helps.
Yes. And although we're wrapping up, we did get a couple questions now. So that's fantastic.
Sure. I'm reading them too. I want to answer them really quickly. Clarify the program. It's entirely asynchronous. There are some synchronous components, like an optional office hours, but you do not need to attend that. So there are students who are entirely asynchronous, interested in musicology, hip hop pedagogy, perfect. Advanced doctoral studies in these areas. Well, in terms of writing samples, our musicology teacher will, there will be more writing samples in that course, and she would be a great one to talk to because she is an ethnomusicologist as well. And I think that's terrific. That's a great PhD. We need more study on hip hop for sure, especially trap music. Longevity, how long has this program been offered? This is a relatively new program. So you would be some of our first students to take this. So we still have students we are literally in the first year of classes. So we have not had any graduates quite yet. So I can't answer that. I love your background. And do you have a way of showing some sort of musical something? And that could be very varied. Maybe you produce, do you sing? Have you played an instrument? It sounds like there's something musical in you, and we could talk about that offline. And Stephen, do you want to handle the digital audio workstation question?
Sure, shoot, I'll try.
I can read it to you, Stephen. So DAW coverage. In the program, what range of digital audio workstations are reviewed? Is Pro Tools the primary focus, or are other DAWs like Ableton Live, Logic Pro, FL Studio also covered? And then are there preferred platforms for such as like Mac users and Logic and all that? Let me see.
Basically, sorry, I hope I didn't cut
you off.
No,
that's pretty,
no, that's quite all right. It's really most of the examples, it's a great question. Most of the examples, on-screen examples and DAW casts are done on Logic Pro. So if you use GarageBand or Logic Pro, they're pretty compatible with each other. There's no Pro Tools in the program. It's just not that type of a course where that's really geared towards like professional engineering, all the way up like recording large bands and things like that. This is like I said, just to get it's accessible. Still, it's an industry standard, so almost like ubiquitous, at the time right now, Logic. So it's really mostly done on that. So
thank you for that, Stephen. Sure. And then, there was a question about scholarships for the program. So we do have waivers, which Omar is very well versed in. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We can explain to you exactly what we have going on. And Omar is going to get into that a bit. So thank you for that question. And then last one, I'm so sorry for all the questions. No, we love the questions. Thank you for being here. Like we're just humbled that anyone would even like be here at a Wednesday night. So thank you. With that, Reina, Stephen, one last question. Why us? Why us? Why us? Why us?
Because we're a family here. Like, honestly, like, it's just, we really care, like, truly, like, we really care, and we adapt to the needs of our students. That's really, Stephen and I, like, we get together after we're done teaching to have these conversations. Okay, how did this go? Did this go? Do we need to change this? Blah, blah, blah. They're interested in this. That's the spirit of this place, right? In person and online. And we are a place of yes. Like there are many schools that have it's a narrow hallway and you're supposed to change your body to walk down it. We're the opposite. We're like Let's build the whole way that will accommodate your body and your interests and get you to what your professional goal is. I think it's a stronger economy when people have different professional goals. If we're all training everybody to be the same thing, that doesn't make much sense. So, we're very interested in all the paths that you want to take.
Thank you. Stephen, final thoughts?
Yeah, I think just to punctuate that, just also to say that we're really committed to teaching the students that are in front of us. Everybody has a different background. I think that's one of the fantastic things is that we really do work with your, some of your expertise. Of course, you have great faculty here. We have things that we really feel like you need to know, and really things that are really important and critical to be successful and to, like I said before, to thrive in the industry. But we're really committed to teaching, really love the uniqueness of the students that come here. It's part of our strength. I think a lot of times some institutions, just try to have a little bit of a formula and want to brand people, with their branding. And we're the opposite. We really are. We really embrace the uniqueness of all the students. Your musical background, man, we go from musical theater to electronic music to jazz. I see man, I run the gamut all day, right? In musical theater, I have crooners, I have producers. It's really wild. So we embrace that to punctuate what Marina said. So
thank you, Stephen, and thank you
you.
both. Thank you both for being here. Truly appreciate it. Omar, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andrea, and everyone. With the list of resources that you see that's available, one of the concepts we try to build on, of course, is community and being able to create that campus experience for online students. So instead of you having to walk over to the graduate center or the alumni network, you could just access it with a few clicks. So there's various ways that we try to keep students connected, be able to assist you. We have a Veterans Resource Center for military students. So again, just finding different ways to be able to build that community and support you. And of course, kind of thinking back to the slide about the program overview in terms of the number of courses and the style of the classes in terms of when you apply. For transcripts, you can use your unofficial transcripts. It's not necessary for admissions purposes to get the official ones just yet. Of course, 2 letters of recommendation that are done through the system, your resume, personal statement. For those of you that are interested in financial aid, or if you just wanted to have that as an option, we encourage you to fill out your FAFSA as soon as you can. We don't control the processing times, so we always encourage students to do that as quickly as you can. And of course, there's a mission of the online application and the portfolio. And with the portfolio, we try to make that process as smooth as possible for you. So absolutely, you can reach out to us, enrollment advisors, in terms of how you want to send that over to us. And again, just trying to make it as accessible for you as possible. And with Monday being our early admissions deadline, we do have a perk that we are offering to students. If you wanted to try to save a little bit of money, you're able to qualify for a deposit waiver and additionally the 50% tuition waiver. And remember that with the admissions file, it has to have all the components in. So we're very mindful, of course, with this program, since you have a portfolio, just making sure that you really stay on top of that, since reviewing the portfolio does take a little bit of time. And again, any questions you might have, just making sure to reach out to any of us enrollment advisors. If you're ready to go with the process, we have the little QR code on the bottom you can access. And before we let you go, I did want to just say thank you to all of our exceptional panelists today. And for the rest of you out there, we hope to see you soon as the future came. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.